What is up, everybody? It is me, your favorite YouTube heavyweight champion of the world. I wanted to bring you guys my thoughts on NXT TakeOver Chicago. I thought this was a very, very awesome show. This show was awesome. I liked it. It was a very, very good show. It was very entertaining. This show had everything you could have wanted. This show had great wrestling. It had everything that you could have asked for in a good show. NXT tonight absolutely did a great job. I mean, everybody put in the effort tonight, man. Everybody did a great job. I mean, tonight was a awesome NXT TakeOver Chicago show. The crowd was absolutely on fire. The crowd in Chicago was absolutely awesome for NXT TakeOver Chicago tonight. The crowd was absolutely on fire. It was a great crowd tonight for NXT TakeOver Chicago. It was a really, really great crowd. This crowd was absolutely on fire. This crowd was absolutely awesome. So let's talk about the matches. Let's talk about the first match. Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. This was a great tag team match. This was a awesome match. I did enjoy it. It was a very, very good tag team match. I mean, these two teams absolutely let it all hang out. It was a really good tag team match with the Undisputed Era and Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. These two teams absolutely put on a good match. I did enjoy it. It was very, very good. And you had Adam Cole run out and try to help the Undisputed Era, and he got threw out from ringside by the referee. This tag team match was absolutely awesome. I did enjoy it. It was a very, very good match, and the Undisputed Era ends up picking up the win over Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago in a very good tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. This was a very, very great. This was a very good match. I did enjoy it. And then let's talk about Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. This match was the match of the night on my card. This was the match of the night between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. This match was absolutely the best match, hands down, of the night. This match absolutely killed it. These two guys put on a great match tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. These two guys absolutely put on a awesome match. This match was the match of the night, in my opinion. This match stole the show. I mean, Ricochet and Velveteen Dream absolutely stole the show tonight. This was one of the best matches at NXT tonight. The NXT could have bought to a NXT TakeOver. I mean, Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, they're the two best guys in NXT. I mean, you can see how much potential Velveteen Dream and Ricochet have. I mean, these guys have a lot of potential. I mean, this match was absolutely awesome between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. This match was really, really good. I liked it. It was one of my favorite matches of the night, hands down. I really liked this match between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. This match was really awesome, and Ricochet ends up picking up the win over Velveteen Dream with the 630 splash. Ricochet ends up picking up the win over Velveteen Dream tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago in a very, very awesome match. These two guys absolutely stole the show tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. If there's one match I would refer to you guys to go back and watch tonight at NXT TakeOver, go back and watch Velveteen Dream and Ricochet tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. Now, I want to talk about Nikki Cross versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. This match was decent. There was nothing really to see. I mean, both women did a pretty good job. I mean, am I impressed with Shayna Baszler? No, not really. I think Shayna Baszler is I think she just, I think she's really just boring in the ring. I don't find nothing really, interesting about Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler is kind of cool, I guess, in a way. I like how Nikki Cross comes across as a psychotic girl. I like how she plays that off. I like how she portrays herself as psychotic. I like that. I like how she portrays her character. That is really, really awesome. Nikki Cross is absolutely one of my favorites down at NXT. I don't know if she's coming to the main roster or not, but Nikki Cross is one of my favorites down at NXT. Her and Shayna Baszler put on a pretty decent match tonight on NXT TakeOver Chicago. They put on a pretty decent match, and Shayna Baszler makes Nikki Cross pass out, and Shayna Baszler ends up retaining the NXT Women's Championship tonight over Nikki Cross at NXT TakeOver Chicago tonight. Now let's talk about Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. This was the second best match of the night, besides Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan was the second best match of the night tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. I mean, these two guys absolutely beat the hell out of each other. These two guys absolutely just went all out in this match. I mean, this was a really, really good match between Lars Sullivan and Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. This was a really, really good match. I did enjoy it. And I mean, there's a lot of kicks and punches thrown in this match. I mean, it was a really, really good match. And you had Aleister Black end up hitting the fade to black kick. You had Aleister Black hitting his kick on Lars Sullivan for the win, and you had Aleister Black pick up the win over Lars Sullivan tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago, and Aleister Black ends up retaining his NXT Championship tonight over Lars Sullivan in a really, really good NXT Championship match tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. This was a really good match. I did enjoy it. Now, let's talk about the Chicago Street Fight with Tommaso Ciampa and Joey Gargano. This match was absolutely brutal. I can't explain to you how brutal this match was, guys. This match was all over the place. I mean, these two absolutely beat the living hell out of each other. Tommaso Ciampa and Joey Gargano absolutely beat the living hell out of each other in this Chicago Street Fight tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. This was a really, really brutal match tonight between Tommaso Ciampa and Joey Gargano tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And this match ends with Tommaso Ciampa picking up the win over Joey Gargano tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago in a brutal, brutal, brutal street fight. And you guys gotta go back and watch this street fight tonight between Joey Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You guys gotta go back and watch this street fight. It was absolutely awesome. It was a brutal, brutal street fight. You guys gotta go back and watch this match with Joey Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a Chicago street fight tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And you guys gotta go back and watch. Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan for the NXT Championship. You guys gotta go back and watch that. And you guys gotta go back and watch Velveteen Dream versus Ricochet in their match tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You guys got to go back and watch those three matches tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You got to go back and watch Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream, and you got to go back and watch Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship, and then you got to go back and watch Joey Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a brutal, brutal, brutal street fight. These two guys absolutely beat the living hell out of each other tonight in this Chicago street fight. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on the show tonight for NXT Takeover Chicago. This was a very, very good show. I did enjoy it. This show had great wrestling, great storytelling. This show had everything you could have asked for in a wrestling show. This show was very good. I loved this show tonight. This show was very awesome. I did enjoy it. So I'm going to go 8 out of 10 for my NXT Chicago Takeover review. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. So I'm giving the NXT Takeover Chicago review a 8 out of 10. This was a very, very good show. I liked it. It was a very good show. Tonight, NXT Takeover Chicago was very, very good. I did enjoy it. It was a very, very good show. So, those are my thoughts on NXT TakeOver Chicago. You guys got to go back and watch the matches tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. If you got, there's 3 matches. There's 3 matches. You guys got to go back and watch Velveteen Dream versus Ricochet in their match tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago, and Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship, and Joey Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a brutal street fight tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You guys got to go back and watch those 3 matches tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. Those were the 3 best matches of the night. And I liked those 3 matches. I thought they were really, really good. So, I'm going 8 out of 10 for NXT TakeOver Chicago tonight. I'm giving this show a 8 out of 10. So, this was a very good show. It had a lot of great storytelling. There was a lot of action. So, and like I said, Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch was a really good tag team match. This was a really, really good tag team match between the Undisputed Era and Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. These 2 tag teams put on a really good tag team match, and the Undisputed Era picks up the win over Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan tonight at NXT TakeOver Chicago. So, yep, guys, NXT TakeOver Chicago was really good tonight. It was a really, really good show. I did enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoyed NXT TakeOver Chicago tonight. It was a really good show. And guys, if you like this NXT Chicago TakeOver review, hit that thumbs up. If you guys like my YouTube channel, blow up that red subscribe button. Thanks for watching this NXT TakeOver Chicago review. We will talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.